wild, okay? And that's not one time. This has been 2 or 3 times that has ran across my radar on my plate. And I'd be like, thank you, God, for looking out for your boy, because it's real out here. It's crazy. It's really crazy out here, man, for real. And it's
really
like,
is,
they know that you're trying to do the right thing. They know that you're trying to keep it together. When they see what they feel is a successful Black man doing the right thing, you're ambitious, you're driven, you got goals, you got things that you're going after. And, for most women, they say, yo, that's attractive. I like that, cool. But when it really comes down to having mature conversation about X, Y, and Z, and whatever that case may be, some of them, like I say, some of them will run away, or some of them will come to you, and they know that you're trying to be disciplined in certain areas or in all areas, and they feel like they can just, let me press this button right here. Let me see how he'll respond. Let me press that button right here. Let me see how he'll respond. And that's exactly what they do. So some of them are on assignments like that. And it's like, well, you're not for me. So, and for me, like straight up, my prayer has always been, Lord, if they're not from you, if they're not supposed to be on my radar, wipe them off my plate, remove them quickly, so I can keep on moving forward to the person that you have for me that actually understands exactly where I am. They're not a hindrance. They're not trying to block my view, block my goal of where you want me to go, what you want me to do, how you want me to do it. They're there as a partner. You know what I'm saying? The word says that she's supposed to be my help meet, MEET, which means that she is going to complement me on the vision that God has given me to move forward in this life. So if she's not doing that, then I don't want her, straight up. And if you can't respect my position on that, then that's a deal breaker for me. Because if you can't respect who I am as a man, and as a man that's trying to follow godly principles and trying to do the right thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm a business owner. I have some things established. So if you cannot respect me in that area of what I'm doing, especially when a man realizes that he's doing internal work, and you got to that place of healing as well. If we can't have that mature conversation, if you're not willing to work and support what I'm doing, then that's a deal breaker for me.
Well, ladies, maybe some of y'all ain't ready for these two singers. So
I can't with you.
You be having a ball, yo. Said, well,
I love it.
All right, well. I don't know, should we go spicy or not? Maybe we should keep it tame. This is Guys Say Some Love, but I mean, y'all was a singles men saying it's trying to. We can skip this whole chapter. We ain't got to go there.
Well, whatever you want to do, that's fine. I mean, we're up for that. That's what it's for. Mature conversation. So.
True. But y'all don't know nothing about this yet. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, how about this one? This might be a good one. Reasons why men cheat.
Yo, I've never cheated. I've never cheated, so I could only give you what I've heard. That's it. Like, I can't.
True. Same for me.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. That's a beautiful thing. So, tell me what the men folk told y'all why they treated then, or why they cheated then.
Because their wife ain't doing stuff they want them to do. Sometimes, like, they don't feel like valued as a man. They don't feel like they get the attention they deserve or that they want or need. Sometimes they feel like they're being belittled by their women. Sometimes the women might talk down to them. So it's like, yo, my coworker over here, she love the job I do. You know what I'm saying? And after a while, even if it's like a good dude, they can get worn down after a while. Like I don't care. Like you could be like, you got some men, they just out there like, yo, they just can't help themselves. Like, yo, they gotta tap whatever they see. You know what I'm saying? And that's just always in them. But then you got some men, it's like they start off on the right foot, like come from, good upbringing and all that, and they value, respect women, and then they just get caught up. Like it's like when you, as a man, if you don't feel like a man when you go home, you're gonna go home to somewhere where you'll feel like a man. I just think it's unfortunate, but that's what I've heard.
Okay. Little inside information, ladies. Y'all better
make that man feel like a man.
You go.
Yeah.
That's why
What you heard, Ryan?
Well, I mean, I haven't heard, but I do know. So this is like close to home for me, actually, because my brother cheated on his girlfriend.
Okay.
Not once, but like several times, actually. And even through like cyber dating, and, he struggled with a lot of different things as well. I don't know, this may be a little bit TMI for some people, but since we are mature and we all are reasonable adults, right? So this is what it's about. So I'm gonna just go ahead and go in. I discovered that my father's side of the family, they have a very high sex drive, right? So with that being said, what Neil said earlier, that is very true. If the man doesn't feel that he is, quote unquote, king of the castle, and he feels secure, the attention is there, and not just that, but also like spending time with him. And for some men, and I know this because my father is one of them, and also my brother, most men, not all, but most men, they have to have affirmations spoken to them to reaffirm them and to know that they are important, they are great, they are this, that, and the third, they're handsome, et cetera, et cetera. Just a few words will turn a man around like 180, right? But back to the whole high sex drive situation. So my brother, started off very well, just like what Neil said. Most men start off on the right foot, like my brother did, on the right path and everything. And sooner or later, after he left my parents' house, got out on his own, whatever, he just started to get wild. Started getting caught up in stuff. He was dealing with pornography. He was dealing with a lot of different things. He was cyber dating. So we found out. When I say we, I mean my mother and I. We had a conversation with my brother at lunch one time, and found out that we were all around the table. We were talking, and then during the time before he met his girlfriend, I guess fiance now, he had talked to some female through the internet, and they had connected. She had came from Miami, came up and everything like that. And it was one of them one-nighter situations, right? So what I discovered was my brother's girl, she's very insecure. She got insecure because when she had just divorced from her husband, and then a couple of years later, her and my brother, they had connected, they had met and everything, then they had started talking, whatever the case may be. She never addressed that issue the time that she had divorced her ex-husband. So further along, as they were dating and going through courtship, right? My brother was still in that zone of cheating on the side, whatever, because when she'll go back home to Detroit and then going back and forth, whatever, she didn't know what he was doing, whatever, but she ended up catching him in the act one time when she came over to the apartment. And what I found out was she had a key to his apartment. So, pops up and there's a female in the house. You know what I mean? So this wasn't the first time that he did that. It was like several times that he did that. And I think it was just a fact of my brother wanting validation from our father as well, because my father, he didn't have the greatest influences of male figures around him either, because he came from a broken home. So now we're talking, you know, my father, years and years later, you know, he had a very wild lifestyle, whatever, just did crazy stuff. He tried cocaine at one point and all this crazy stuff. So he went to jail for 4 years. He had lost his dream goal of becoming a professional NFL player. All that went down the drain and all that stuff. So when my dad, quote unquote, gave his life to the Lord, that was supposed to change the dynamic, right? But however, years and years later, as my brother went off and wanted to do his own thing, we discovered that my father said to him, "Oh, get you a piece and then come right back." I looked at him like he was crazy. Like, are you serious? You gonna tell him? You gonna tell your son? Sorry, y'all, I'm getting the camera. You gonna tell your son to get him a piece, and you said that you a man of God? What kind of foolishness are you? What kind of water are you drinking right now? Seriously? So it was a lot of misinformation. And when a young man goes into manhood and he wants the validation from his father, he's going to do anything and everything to get his father's approval. So that's what my brother did. So, like I said, if you don't tackle those issues now, what happens is that baggage that you're getting from your childhood going into your adulthood and different relationships, and you wonder why your relationships don't work, is because you didn't tackle those skeletons in the closet. So that's kind of, I'm trying to make it like a long story short, but you know, coming back to the point of that's what happened. No, it wasn't right, and he did apologize for it, but every time we would have that discussion, he'll pop up with another story. And then another story pops up. And then another story pops up. So then, of course, that puts a lot of trust issues within the relationship as well. So it's been very, very rocky. So yeah, for most men who don't feel affirmed or appreciated or valued, that's going to become an issue. I've even heard also that when the wife has her child, et cetera, you know, of course, the baby is going to be the most important thing in the house. So the husband got to take a back seat for a second, you know his position. And the man gonna feel, well, hold on, you know, you got all your attention on the kid, but what about me? But see, that goes back to the point of the security issue about knowing yourself and knowing who you are. So there's a lot of different dynamics that are in the situation. And that's what happens. So they have it.
Man, now, okay. Well, those are some reasons why, ladies. In case you're wondering why men cheat, there's just a couple of reasons that these gentlemen have observed. I just got a couple more questions. I don't know how long we've already chatted, so I mean, obviously, this one you can see the rest of it on the website. But I think I want to still ask, maybe give you guys the opportunity to kind of give your last words, but then I also want to just ask a fun one. So this is a fun one. I know y'all are single men or whatever, but you know, I think y'all can, you know, give some type of information. So, men folk. Okay. Do men really want feedback in the bedroom?
I knew you was gonna ask that one.
You know. You ain't even know. Do you mean folk? Do y'all really want feedback?
I will say this. I feel like if you, as a man, I can only speak for myself. Mm-hmm. If you feel a need to ask, then I don't know. Like I just think like, hey, look, if you feel you want to ask, hey, baby, uh, how was that stroke last night? Like, I don't like.
I don't know if the man is necessarily asking.
I,
That's
So like
funny.
maybe she's some type of feedback, or maybe she's.
I think there should be a conversation of what do you like, what don't you like, what I like, what
Exactly.
don't I like, and how can we like
Mm-hmm.
make each other happy. I think that will like eliminate, you know,
Yeah.
So you saying
cheating down the
avoid?
road on either side.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just think you should just always have an upfront conversation prior to,
Mature conversation.
and that's why I think, obviously in my opinion, like sex before marriage is can be detrimental because on both sides you're trying so many different people. And it's like everybody's
Mm-hmm.
gonna have their best, and the person you may marry may or may not add up to that person. So now you gotta deal
Mm-hmm.
with all that. She ain't do this like such and such, or he ain't doing that like such and such, and now that's just locked up in here. So I think
Mm-hmm.
just a lot of times there's a lot of deliverance that needs to to happen prior to marriage. They got to get the victory in some areas, and like really just having just upfront genuine conversations, because a lot of times, and this is going back to why some men cheat, it's like, yo, you was saying you was doing all this and you like this and you wanted that, but when we get married it just went like, you're like, what happened? Was it me? Is it you just never liked it? Did I like not did I lose a step? Like, you know what I'm saying? I think like having like real genuine like dialogue, having a real conversation. Like if y'all like best
Mm-hmm.
friends, y'all should be able to talk, because sex is a big thing. It is, but it's really
Mm-hmm.
not when it comes down to it. Like Ranye was saying, like, yo, the flesh fade. After a while, you just left with conversations and personality and food. You know what I mean? Like, what you gonna do if your wife can't, like, if she has that baby, like, and like, you know what I'm saying, she got to heal up and all that stuff, and what do you do like if her hormones change and she's
Mm-hmm.
not into certain things the way that she was before? Not that it's any fault of her own, it's just, yo, having a baby changes your body. Talking
Mm-hmm.
off of personal experience, but I'm just saying, like, being real though. So it's like, what are you gonna do if sex just isn't the same? Like, to me,
Mm-hmm.
like, what are you gonna do really when the marriage really starts? Like, oh wait, I can't have what I want anymore. Does this person lose value? Does the stock in my wife drop because sexually she's not doing the things she used to do or that I want her to do, and vice versa? And that's some real stuff that I think people gotta like look at, because
Mm-hmm.
some people will let sex just tank a whole marriage, which is ridiculous. I'm like, why did you even get married? Like,
Right.
to for better or for worse. Like, why you lie? You didn't mean it.
You,
You knew you didn't have a heart for it. So why you even sign up for it, yo? So I think feedback is necessary, but if you if you go before you do it, I think that's more important than having feedback.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
I agree. Absolutely. What Neil just said too. And just to add on to what he said, we're going back to the genesis of why God created sex in the first place, right? Because sometimes people don't even want to ask that question. That's the thing for me, because um, I'm going to say this. I didn't say it like everybody, but I know that most young Black men growing up, their perception of what sex is has been distorted due to the fact of pornography and many other things that are out there as well too. It
mm-hmm.
distorts a lot of the original divine plan, what the Most High had already established from the very beginning, and the dynamic between male and female interaction, aka marriage. Um, fantasy, fantasy will mess you up. That's what mess up a lot of people, because you can think of one thing, right? But then I know Neil laughing about it, but like real talk though, fantasy will mess
It's
you
real.
up because you thinking of one thing and it's like, yo, I feel like Simba. You know what I'm saying? I'm like the Lion King. But boy, as soon as you had that conversation with her, boy, you feel like Rafiki. You know what I'm saying? Timon and Pumbaa, you know? And I'm like, that's not it, man. That's not it. Not it, man. It's not it. Wrong thing. Wrong thing.
You
Back
thought
up.
you was Scar. It's like, nah, bro, you Pumbaa. Like, you know.
Yeah,
That's real.
exactly.
That's real. That
Exactly.
is so true, though. That is so true. That's so true. Like, seriously.
For real. And it's crazy because it's like, you know, fantasy has taken over like crazy in a lot of people's heads, man. Like, it can really mess you up if you're not careful. You know, Time Magazine, I saw this article in Time Magazine back in 2016. A friend of mine had showed me this. And they had covered a big deal about pornography and how it starts. Like, you got young men that start at 8 years old, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And when their perception is distorted, you know, then it spirals over into their building relationships with women and you thinking that, man, she gonna like me like this. But then she like, nah, it ain't even about that, you know, because she's on another wave. She's on another dynamic. So we got to remove that fantasy, that structure. The thing that Lucifer messes with the most is the head. You know, the Bible says God is not the author of confusion. And I feel like there's a lot of confusion in that realm. And we just need to bring it all the way back and just let's go back to the basics and the establishment of it. Because if you can't have a genuine conversation with the person that you really, really is digging and loving them inside and out and all of these things, you want to know, hey, sweetie, what turns you on? And when we say the word turn on, it don't always mean physically. You know what I'm saying? So it comes in different ways. Like Neil say, you know, hey, yeah, when a woman gives birth to a child, there's going to be some different extremities there going on. You know, her physicality going to be a little bit different. All these things are going to take place. You know, so what's really going to grab her and stimulate her in that moment? You know, I had a friend of mine I had a conversation with, and we had a very, very, very mature conversation about it. And she said to me, she was like, you know, hey, my man got a high sex drive, but I got a low sex drive. And I'm like, whoa, does he even know that you are like this? You know, because he's going to walk into the situation like, you know, hey, me and her, we tight. But no, mess his head up just like that. So I feel that we need to have conversations like this, and we need to, again, go back to address the root issues of those matters, because when God created sex, it was more like the icing on the cake. That's like your benefit, like the cherry on top. But I'm gonna use cake as an example, right? So if the ingredients to a cake, if they're not right, and you'll know that bundt oven, the little bundt that you put inside the oven when you get all the batter together and you're waiting for that cake to rise. If it doesn't rise, then your relationship is what? It's flat, just like that cake. So forget about the icing and, you know, the garnish and the cherry on top and all that. None of that don't really matter, because once you remove the sex out of the equation portion of it, what do you really stand on? Because if those ingredients are not working within that relationship cake, then it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to remain flat. And I think also, I've heard a lot of men, especially our brothers as well too, they use women like a test drive. What you mean by a test drive? She ain't no freaking car. What you talking about, man? That's ridiculous. You know, again, the perception and the genesis of what sex is, it's all been distorted. I know people right now, even some grown folks in our age bracket, that still are playing around. A lot of people have removed the step of courtship out. They want to go like Drake said, 0 to 100 real quick. But when you do that, what happens? You miss out on all the steps that you need to understand what your partner is truly about. And they're missing the point. You know, they like, oh, it's old school. You know, we ain't worrying about that, whatever. No. I tell you what, go ahead. I've had a lot of friends of mine who have jumped the gun. They went from 0 to 100. They want to have that person in the bedroom that same night, whatever. And then you want to backpedal to get to know them. Hey, I don't know if you like hash browns or eggs. You know,
Man, that's the truth, bro. That's so real.
You know what I mean? Like
what's
me,
your name
that's
again?
silly. Yeah, what's your name again? What's your last name? What's your credit score? I don't know.
Oh wait,
you know?
so we cousins? Like, oh, I didn't know.
Oh, it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. And I'm like, are we gonna go there right now? Because this is so foul. It's messed up. You know, people forgot what, you know, back in the day they used to say foreplay. People don't even say the word foreplay no more. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, let's get you straight to it. You know what I mean? Like they just missed out on a lot of steps in between. You know what I mean? Now they want quickie and they want this, that, and the third and all these different references, sexual wise. You know, so it's really, really jacked up all the way around. And it's just like when you don't do what God's instructions are telling you to do in regards of how the sensual and the sexual relationship is supposed to build between you and your spouse, you know what I'm saying, on that level, because you're talking about energy. You're talking about your spirit connecting with somebody else. Like that's nothing to play with. I take that very, very serious. You know what I mean? And on record, by the way, I'm going to go on record again because I just had this situation last week with a friend of mine. I'm not going to say her name. Keep it confidential. But I knew this person for over 12 years. No, I'm not going to do it. Miracle, I'm not going to do it. 12 years. I knew this person. Sweetheart. Lover. And she had just got out of a marriage with someone. I know the person. I know her ex-husband and all that stuff. She called me up. I think it was like on a Wednesday night. She had called me up. And she said to me, hey, Ryan, do you have time to talk for a second? I said, yeah, go ahead. You good? Shoot. So she says, do you have she put it like this. She said, do you have the emotional withband to withstand what I'm getting ready to tell you? I said, yeah, I'm good. You know, I got a lot going on, but what's up? Talk to me. So she breaks it down to me. She tells me, hey, I pulled the trigger. I just divorced from my husband, blah, blah, blah. You know, it ain't working. I tried, et cetera, et cetera. You know, we're not there no more. She had moved out of the house, moved to a further location away from the house, but they had a bad house in a beautiful area. Like we're talking probably like over $100,000 house, $300,000, whatever. But gated community, all that stuff. So she left the house, staying with her cousin and all of that. You know, they had one kid together and all these things. They both came from separate divorces, came together equally. That didn't work out, so they split again. She said, well, this is what happened. This is where I'm at right now. She said, you know, I have checked out different men and, you know, I went through the whole cyber dating and I've had different men, you know, they're interested in me, whatever, but I'm just not feeling them. They're coming off wrong, whatever. I've been knowing you for a long time. I just want to ask you if that was okay with you. You may want to think about it. Can you be my sex partner? So,
I'm sorry.
With that being said, I told you I'm about to get real. So when she asked me that question, I said, I'm out running errands right now with my mama. She coming back to the car, so I'm about to call you right back on that one.
With my mama.
So I'm driving down the road, having a conversation with God. Like, I can't believe she sat there and asked me that question. Are you kidding me right now? So like, if that's not an assignment to tell you, I don't know what. I don't know what to tell you, okay? That was an assignment from y'all know who. So I got back to her about 15, 20 minutes later, sat down, I called her back, and I said, okay, we're going to have this conversation now. And I had a few choice words for her. So y'all excuse me for all my saints out there watching. I had a few words for her. And I said, have you lost your mind? But I ain't say it like that, but y'all get what I'm saying. I said, have you lost your mind? So I said, I'm flattered, but I'm not flattered at what you just asked me. That's not flattering to me because I take it very serious. I know that you don't want to, jump from one person to another, and you don't want to, feel the effects and, the repercussions and all these things like that, right? However, I'm not feeling that, okay? And I'm going to let you know why I'm not feeling that. I said, you got to understand something. Relationships, I take very, very seriously. If we're doing this, I said, no. We can't do this because I believe in relationship. I believe in monogamous relationship. It is sacred to me. You know what I'm saying? It is, for some people, it's holy. I know for me, it's holy. And it's spiritual. So it's just like you presented something, quote unquote, nice to me. However, you served it on a dirty trash can lid. That's what you did. So it's just like you had a 5-course meal sitting on top of a trash can lid, and you put everything in there that you want. But however, even though the presentation looks nice, it's still dirty. I said, I'm not going to do that. I said, I'm not going to disrespect myself. I said, that's no. And I said, if I'm with somebody, I'm connected with somebody on that kind of frequency, on that kind of level, and we're talking about holy matrimony, we're talking about holy, like sacred, spiritual, all the way around the way that God intended. I said, I'm greedy. I don't want nobody else, all right? I'm greedy like that. That's just how I am. Because I believe in a monogamous relationship. Y'all may think I'm new school all the time, but I'm definitely old school. I still got old school ethics. I grew up around a lot of male figures that believe in old school. I learned from my grandfather. I learned from my elders. I learned from my uncles and things like that, of how to treat a woman this way, and et cetera, et cetera. Or a matter of fact, I even go further and go deeper with y'all. I talked to God. I said, God, you tell me and show me, what is your definition of sex? And I'll follow that plan. Because I want to know, because we've tried it all different kind of ways. We've been curious, this, that, and the third. We done went left, we went right. We thought we had it right, and it's wrong. So I say, you know what? You can have the will. Because I don't know nothing. And I'm not trying to mess that up. But I knew exactly where she was going with it. But I told her, I still love you like a friend. I adore you like a friend, but I can't do that. So, no.
You know what, though, Ranye? You probably was the right one for her to ask. Because you gave her that right there. And that's what she needed to hear. She probably don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
But anybody in that type of situation, that's what they need to hear. So you probably
no, you're right. Absolutely.
Like my first response, did she know you? Like, and I mean, I know we only known each other a short time, but I'm like, why would you even ask him that though? But you like, no,
right, exactly.
Yeah, especially if you said all that, then
yeah. Yeah, but in her perspective, she felt as if she is not broken. She's not fractured or anything like that. When I say fractured, I mean like mentally, spiritually, etc. She don't feel that way. She still feels whole. She looks at it as if, oh, I got an itch on my back. I need to scratch it. Can you scratch it for me? Okay, cool, thanks, not a problem. I said, I don't look at it like that, yo. I don't look at it like that. Sorry to tell you that, but no, that's not me. So I got to pass, sweetheart. I got to pass. So no.
That's good stuff.
Well, kudos, bro. You know what I'm saying? Real men out here, y'all. These unicorns on the line right now. These
Unicorn.
She gave me the black unicorn, yo.
guys, man. Listen,
I'll take it. I'll take the black unicorn. I'll take the black unicorn. That's cool. That's cool. I can do that. I can dig that. I don't know about you, Neil, but I can dig that. I'm cool with that.
yeah, we got two
I
black
don't even
men
know what a unicorn is.
talking real good. Well, y'all, you know I can talk to y'all all night. Y'all know it already. But I just say for the record, thank you all for answering some of these questions from the Black Men in Intimacy book. If anybody wants to, you know, get in on that, that's Therese Fleetwood. All right, check her out. Well, yeah, man, thank you so much, Neil and Ryan. Yay. Again, I mean, okay, is there anything y'all want to say to the people before I let them go? What y'all want to say?
The marriage bed
I
is
would
holy.
probably say like, yes. Say it, Neil. Say it. Say it one more time, Neil. Say it.
Said the marriage bed is holy and undefiled.
Yes.
Just wait for it, man. Just wait. It ain't worth it. It really ain't.
That's the key word, yo. Like waiting is so important. I'm reminded of the passage in the Song of Solomon. I want to say it's around chapter 4, verse 8, where he's talking to the women in Jerusalem. He said, daughters of Jerusalem, do not awaken love before it's time. And I'll say the same thing to the fellas as well, too. Don't awaken love before it's time. It's not worth it. And whatever your perception is of what sex is or what love is, whatever, I would say put your questions on trial. Put your thoughts on trial and ask God about it. No, it's cool to have a psychologist and a psychiatric and a life coach and all these things to ask them. But I say above all, ask God, because that's the one who made it in the first place. So that's how I see it, you know what I'm saying, in that perspective. Like, and love yourself. Love yourself. Take time out for yourself. Stop jumping from one relationship to another, like back to back, like 6 months later, you in another relationship, and then you out of that relationship, and then another 6 months, you in another relationship. Like, come on, man, stop. Don't do that to yourself. Treat yourself better. You deserve it.
Yeah, get to know you.
Yeah, get to know yourself first, man, and like get rid of those issues that have been plaguing you for a long period of time. You know what I'm saying? Because what you are not aware of is you are hurting your potential spouse that God has for you by you carrying all these different baggages, this emotional baggage, childhood generational issue baggage, trauma baggage, triggers baggage, you know, all this stuff, man, is crazy. Like, don't do that to yourself. Please love yourself. That's why I take my time out for myself. Yes, I've been to myself for over 10 years, and I'm all right with that. You know, I've dated in between, whatever. Stuff didn't work, but it's all good. I'd rather love myself and work on myself. So when it's time, I ain't got to worry about that no more. That's been put to bed. No pun intended.
Well, that's all for God, Sex, and Love tonight, y'all. See y'all next week.